Hey loves, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jamral and I make YouTube videos to store memories and bring value to people worldwide. Enjoy! You click this YouTube video, which means you have plans to come back here to the Philippines, or you're looking to go to Thailand and see what the requirements are to get back here. Well, not to worry, because I will be giving you the complete requirements for how to come back here to the Philippines. I will be dividing this video into two sections. So section 1 will be about the requirements for Filipinos, or if you hold a Philippine passport, and the second section will be for those who are not Filipinos, or in other words are foreigners. So let's get right into it. If you are Filipino, there are only 4 requirements for you to come back here to the country. So first requirement is you need a negative RT-PCR test result. So this test needs to be taken within 48 hours prior to the date and time of your departure from Thailand. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. You need to go to a hospital in Thailand and get tested, get the RT-PCR test. So basically what I did was, from my experience, I went to a hospital in Thailand, just walked in and asked them, told them that I need an RT-PCR test for travel. And yeah, they pretty much know what to do. So just walk in and tell them that you need that. If you were talking about the expenses, the RT-PCR test in Thailand is definitely more expensive, pricier than the RT-PCR test that I got here in the Philippines. The one I got was 3,500 baht. So there's that. The second requirement is only for those who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated. So if you are fully vaccinated, you do not need this requirement. You can just skip to it and get to the third requirement. But if you are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated and you're planning to come here to the Philippines, you need to be quarantined. So you need to book a quarantine hotel and you need to be swabbed on the 5th day. So personally for me, I would advise that you come here to the Philippines when you're fully vaccinated, because I came back to the Philippines from Thailand when these protocols were still not yet in place. And so I had to be quarantined for 6 days. And you can just imagine, oh my God, the isolation. I had to be in a quarantine hotel for 6 days alone. And let me tell you, it was honestly just one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Just not being able to talk to people, not being able to see people. I mean, I had some alone time. It was great for reflection and all that. But then, yeah, I totally understand now why people are having mental health problems, because they're not able to see and talk to people physically, especially when they're away from family and they're all alone. So yeah, as much as possible, please be fully vaccinated when you come here to the Philippines, so you don't have to go through all the quarantine. Okay, the third requirement is you need a vaccine certificate. So if you watched my previous video on how to go to Thailand from the Philippines, you need a vaccine certificate, which is totally free. For Filipinos, if you were vaccinated here in the Philippines, you can just get your vaccine certificate online. It's free, and I will be putting the link in the description box below. So the fourth and last requirement, if you're a Filipino and you're planning to come here to the Philippines, is you need a One Health Pass, which you can get online for free. I will also be putting the link in the description box below. So this One Health Pass is pretty much like it's similar to the Thai Pass, where you need to put in general information like your name, your nationality, your flight number, passport number, your date of arrival here to the Philippines. And it will also ask for a picture of your vaccine certificate and your RT-PCR test result. So once you've filled in all of these and you've all given them, and if you've given the system all the information that it needs, it will generate a QR code which you will need at the airport. They'll just scan it and you're pretty much good to go. So that's it. If you're Filipino, that's pretty much it. Those are the 4 requirements. 3 if you are fully vaccinated. Okay, so now let's go to section 2 of this video, which is the requirements for foreigners or those who do not hold a Philippine passport. For them, there are 7 requirements. I'm sorry, the requirements are more tedious for foreigners, but it is what it is. Okay, let's get right into the 7 requirements for foreigners to get to the Philippines. Okay, requirement number 1 is, of course, you need to be fully vaccinated. I stated before the partially and unvaccinated people with quarantine requirements. However, that privilege is only for Filipino citizens. So if you are a foreigner or if you do not have a Philippine passport, unfortunately, you cannot enter the Philippines. So please be vaccinated, be fully vaccinated before you come here to the Philippines. The only exemption for this will be children below 12 years old who are traveling with their fully vaccinated parents. So either way, someone has to be fully vaccinated. Okay, second for foreigners is you will need an accepted proof of vaccination. For us in the Philippines, we have the vaccine certificate. So whichever country you're from, in Thailand, I know in Thailand that they have these online vaccine certificates that they just save in their phones. So wherever you are, wherever you got your vaccination, just make sure that you have a legal and valid proof that you are fully vaccinated. So that is the second requirement. Now, third requirement is that you'll also need a negative RT-PCR test result, similar to the requirement for Filipinos, and this result has to be valid or taken 48 hours prior to departure from your country of origin. Okay. The fourth requirement is, of course, a return ticket to your country of origin or a flight ticket to your next international destination. So this is similar to when I went to Thailand. They will also require a return ticket. So immigration just needs proof that you won't be staying in the Philippines illegally, especially if you're not a citizen there. So there's that, you need a return ticket. Fourth requirement is a return ticket. Fifth requirement is you will need a passport that's valid for at least 6 months. So I think this is pretty much international standard. Wherever you go, your passport has to be valid for at least 6 months as security on the end too of the immigration, just knowing that you won't have any problems and that your passport won't expire when you're in the Philippines. So sixth requirement is, this is where it gets different for foreigners and for Filipino citizens, is that for foreigners, you need a travel insurance with COVID-19 treatment that has a coverage of at least $35,000. So you can get whatever insurance policy you have as long as it covers COVID-19 and it's worth a minimum of $35,000. Okay. And lastly, similar to the Filipino citizens, you need a One Health Pass QR code. You'll find the link in the description below, as I said. And that's it. You're pretty much good to go. Once you have all those 7 requirements covered, then easy peasy lemon squeezy, let's come here to the Philippines. So compared to when I first came to the Philippines last January, the rules are not as strict. However, compared to the normal days before COVID, these requirements are still quite lengthy. But you'll still need a One Health Pass, vaccine certificate. But hey, at least you won't have to go through the horrible experience of quarantining or being in quarantine. So yep, just some tips. Once again, this is also similar to the tips that I gave in my first video about going to Thailand. If you don't trust your phone's battery or if you do not have a power bank, have a physical copy or print all of your requirements just to be on the safe side, so that once you get to immigration or if you arrive to the Philippines, and they look for your QR codes, then you'll have them ready and you won't have to worry about getting stuck or have to wait in the airport for a few more hours. There you go. Based on my experience as well, as long as you comply with all of these requirements, you won't have any problems. And it's actually easier to come back to your home country. You know, the requirements are not as harsh, as difficult coming back to your home country than it is leaving the Philippines. So thank you for watching. I hope this really helped. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope you have a safe flight, everyone. And if you're already here in the Philippines and you're Filipino, welcome home. Alright, thanks for watching this video. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated of my travels around the world. Hitting that like and subscribe button lets me know that you appreciate all the effort that I put into making this video as comprehensive as possible. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Got that smile upon